There we go. Now it's recording. All right, so welcome to my Mama and Me oils class. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Kieran and I'm a mama of two little girls. I started using essential oils when I was pregnant with my firstborn, and it took me a little time to get comfortable with essential oils. I honestly had no idea what essential oils were before I was pregnant and meeting my good friend Michelle White, who got me into it. I wasn't into natural. I didn't know why it was so important to reduce the toxins in your lives. I didn't know that I was surrounded by toxins in my life. So becoming pregnant and having kids was a big eye opener for me. And I'm so thankful that I found essential oils and just a new way of living. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about my first experience with my firstborn. She was 4 months old, and I took her to her 4-month checkup. She had a couple of little eczema spots, so I asked the doctor if there was anything that we could use for that. So he sent me to get a cream. I put the cream on her. Her eczema was not that bad. It was quite mild. I put the cream on her and her skin blew up. It was so much worse than it had been. And I, at that moment, knew that I didn't want to use products on her that I didn't know what the ingredients were. So I didn't want to read a list and have no idea what was in something. I wanted to make sure that I was using as natural as possible, as clean as possible. Come here. Well, now you have to show everybody what you're to-dying about. They can see you in the top little corner. Okay. Now go back, please. So yes, they see you too. So I use those oils, so I use the cream. Her skin blew up. I messaged Michelle White, my good friend, and asked her if there's anything to support eczema. She, of course, had something I could use, which I'm going to get into a little bit more after. And her mild eczema ended up clearing up after just a couple of days. So it was a huge game changer for me, a big eye opener as well. And it's really what got me into wanting to share these oils, because I realized how much I just wanted to go natural and clean. So in the 7+ years of these two girls, ages combined, they're 4 and 3, or almost 3. We've had one trip to the doctors for something and one prescription. And that was for a bladder infection for my then 2-year-old. So we didn't want to mess around with that. When we need Western medicine, we will use Western medicine, but it's always so nice to be able to go to your natural toolbox first. So we're going to go over the basics of how to use these natural tools in your house and just go to your kitchen and get whatever you need. Okay, so let's get started at the very beginning. So what oils do I bring to the hospital for my newborn? I kept it really simple. A frankincense drop on foreheads. And I use sorry, just gonna ask for a mute. So I did the frankincense drop on head diluted, and I used the touch roller because those are already safely diluted for all ages. So when they're safely diluted for all ages, it's really great because you just use a little swipe when they're younger, and the older they get, you can use a little bit more. So it makes it really easy. And frankincense is to promote cellular health. So it's really good to use on your newborn when they are just fresh out of there. So balance, rubbed into the bottoms of the feet. This is to promote balance. And grounding. So really good for emotional health for baby and mama. I just do diluted and rubbed it on the bottom of my second daughter's feet when she was born. And then what oils do I bring for myself? So I had a whole huge bag of oils and rollers and things that I planned on using and that I wanted to bring to my labor with my second born because I was so excited. I didn't get a chance to use the ones for labor because she came into this world like wildfire. So I used the after oils. So you can always prepare yourself as much as you want, and then things might change a little bit. But the first oil I grabbed was Balance for myself as well. So for her and for me, again, it's grounding. Another really great one is perineum and hemorrhoid support spray. I just can't say that. And it has helichrysum and frankincense, which are both healing oils and good for inflammation, and lavender, which is soothing. So I made a spray of that, sprayed it where it needed to be sprayed, and I did that for a few weeks after labor, and it was very supportive. And everything healed up really, really nicely. Another really good one is clary sage. So it promotes uterine contraction. It also relieves anxiety and it calms the nervous system. So this is a good one to do once you start to go into labor, when your contractions are actually starting. This is one that you don't want to use while you're pregnant, just in case. I've never actually heard of this happening, but it can promote uterine contraction. So we don't recommend it to be used during pregnancy. But when you're about to go into labor, then it's safe to use because it actually help promote that uterine contraction. So with the oils, I'm going to go a little bit over dilution, because when you're using oils topically, you want to always have them diluted, especially the younger you are or the older you are, because they have more sensitive skin. So for little ones, we recommend usually only using 1 drop for a 10 ml roller. So this is just a 10 ml roller, if you can see in the top there. And it's just 1 drop for 10 ml with a carrier oil. So you can use like fractionated coconut oil, jojoba oil, hemp oil, whatever carrier oil you like to use. And then as they get older, you add more. So you always want to start low, add more. In an adult roller, I would do about 10 to 15 drops, sometimes even more, depends what it's for. And that's what I'm here for. If you have questions, you can ask me anytime, and I can help you figure out how many drops to put in your rollers. I wasn't sure how this was going to go with the kiddos here. Okay, hormone support. So this is a big one after you have a babies, and just as a woman in general. This is, if you are a woman and you have hormones, which is everybody, you need Clarycalm in your life. It is the monthly women's blend. I still remember the first time I used this oil. My firstborn was, I think, 10 months. I just stopped breastfeeding, so my period was starting to come back, and let's just say we like to call this the dragon tamer. I was not feeling so great. I had a lot of mood swings, and I still remember waiting for this in the mail, and the moment I got it, I swiped it on my lower abdomen, by my uterus, and in the inside of my ankles, and then on the insides of my wrists, and I just felt an immediate calm. So it's called Clarycalm for a reason. It really works to help balance those hormones, provide relief from cramps, nausea, and mood swings. And then it's also really good to help women transition into menopause, because again, it's helping to balance out those hormones. Okay, so oils for babies and mama. These are kind of just the must-haves. I like to try and keep it as simple as I can. DigestZen. So this is one that I like to give to people right away to try, especially if you're still just kind of new to oils and haven't quite waiting to kind of see how effective they are and how well they really work. DigestZen is a great one because you notice right away how great it works. It's good for anything for stomach. So constipation, diarrhea, bloating, gas. For babies, it's really good for stomach discomfort, colic, reflux, heartburn for adults as well. My husband used to take Zantac all the time, and now he just takes DigestZen. So this is a really good digestive blend to use, and one of those ways that you can ditch and switch. So you don't have to use all those over-the-counter drugs. You can move on to just using a pure plant that is 100% pure, 100% potent and natural. On Guard. So this is our protective blend. This is for immune support, and I use this every single day on my kids. I'm going to talk a little bit more about immune support after, and myself, just so we can we can get into that for a little while. So I'll talk about that a little bit later. Lavender. So it's a calming blend, really good for sleep. It also is really good for colic and upset babies. And it's good to diffuse in the bedroom for sleep for babies and mama and dad. Nice for mom to wear when breastfeeding because it's very calming, or putting your kids to sleep just on your chest, on your neck. It's a really gentle oil. You can definitely dilute it on yourself, but you don't always need to either. It depends how sensitive your skin is. And one of my favorites for sleep because it's just so calming. And then there's Easy Air, also known as Breathe, and it is our respiratory blend. So a lot of babies tend to be a little bit congested when they come out. This is a really good one to diffuse at night. So it also promotes sleep because it's clearing out those airways and just helping you sleep a little bit better. So I still diffuse it in my kids' room every single night. I diffuse it in my own bedroom because it actually is also really supportive of snoring. If you have snoring husbands, that one's really helpful for that too. So the teething roller, we never want to see our little kiddos in pain, and teething is not a fun time. So this was so helpful for my kiddos. I never had to give them Advil or Tylenol. We just use this roller, which is copaiba, frankincense, Siberian fir, and lavender. Lavender is very soothing, and then copaiba, frankincense, and Siberian fir are anti-inflammatory, and then they're also very healing. So that one, and then really supportive of pain, of course, too. So I used 2 drops of lavender and frankincense, and then 1 drop of Siberian fir and 1 drop of copaiba for my then 4-month-old kids. This might sound a little bit more than what I recommended to start with originally, but the reason I use a little bit more was they were 4 months old, and then also copaiba, lavender, and frankincense are all very gentle oils, so you can use a little bit more. I also knew my kids' skin sensitivity, so you might want to start a little bit lower. Again, you can ask me any questions, or the person who invited you to this, you can ask them questions. We're always here to help. We love answering questions. So all you do is roll it along their jawline when they're teething, and you'll see them calm quite quickly. When the tooth was actually cutting, because kids can end up teething for, it seems like, months for one tooth. When it was actually cutting, I would take copaiba with a drop of it diluted with fractionated coconut oil, and I would actually rub it directly on the gums, and that really helps with the pain, because the cutting pain can be quite intense. Now, oils are not recommended for kids to ingest under 6 years, but with this one, you're getting such a small amount diluted on their gums that I was comfortable with doing this. So it's totally up to your comfort level. My kids, it really helped. And it helped them sleep too, because that was the only time that it was really bothering them, when they were sleeping. So that one is very supportive. And doTERRA essential oils you can ingest. It is because they are pure, they are natural, they are effective, and they are totally safe. They're just plant extracts, or extracts from plants, and they are beyond organic because they are so pure. There's actually, on the bottom of every bottle, there's a code that you can put in at source2u.com, and that will show you all of the tests that your bottle of oil has gone through and how pure it really is. And doTERRA is the only company that does that. It's also been approved by Health Canada and the FDA for ingestion for adults as well. Okay, so skin support for little ones and mama. The nice thing is this is that skin trio that I was talking about, and it's great for all ages. You would just, again, use different ratios. Lavender, tea tree, frankincense. So lavender is soothing, and it's also a natural antihistamine. Tea tree is an antibacterial, and frankincense is healing. So I would use these 3 with a carrier oil. I wouldn't use fractionated coconut oil with this, because it can actually be drying for the skin. So if you're trying to do something to support skin, you want to use something like jojoba oil or hemp oil or grapeseed, almond oil. And my new game changer was olive oil. I had no idea how supportive it could be for skin, but it is my absolute favorite carrier oil. Sometimes if I'm just quick on the go, I'll just grab the olive oil and rub it wherever I need to. I have eczema under my arms, and this is what I use. I do olive oil with this trio. So you use that for diaper rash is really great. Owie spray, eczema support, rashes, itchiness, and then for soothing skin. So this is all I use for my kids with diaper rash and their eczema. And then I've always had an Owie spray just in my bag because of those antibacterial and soothing healing properties. It's really great if your kids get a scrape and you just bring it with you in your bag, your purse. Like I said, I still use it on them. And diaper rash, I use this trio on my older daughter. Now every child is different. I tried to use the exact same on my younger one, and it didn't work as well. So I used the baby diaper rash for her diaper rash and her eczema spots, and it helped clear that up really quickly as well. So that one's a really great diaper rash cream. Earaches. So when we go to the doctor now and you're going for an earache, they're not always going to give you anything for it. You usually just have to help it clear up on its own. So we have our own little method that we use. We use tea tree, lavender, and basil. So tea tree is antibacterial, lavender is soothing and antibacterial, and basil is anti-inflammatory. And all you do is take a little bowl, 1 drop of each, and some carrier oil, take a cotton ball, and just rub it all around the ear. So you just rub it around the ear as often as you need to. You can do it. I've done it every 15 minutes before and have seen relief very quickly with that. So usually within 24 hours, it'll clear up just with supporting it with the oils. And you can do that on yourself and your little ones. Okay, so immune support, as I said, I would get into a little bit. we have very gentle and effective approaches to immune support. And when we're using essential oils, basically what we're doing with emotions, with sleep, with immune is we're just balancing the body back to where it needs to be. So this is my protocol for when I start to see my kids getting a little bit sick. I diffuse the On Guard and the Easy Air day and night. I use the Stronger Roller, which is our protective blend from the kids line. I'm going to get into the kids line a little bit later. I roll it on the bottoms of their feet and or down their spines every few hours. And then I would dilute it more for under 3, or you can use the On Guard Touch Roller. That's what I use when my kids were really little. That one, again, is nice because it's already diluted. You just use a little bit less, and you can use a little bit more if you find that they need it. On the bottoms of the feet is a really great place to roll, especially for little ones, because the skin isn't as sensitive, but it also absorbs the oils really well. And then if you start to see that you're kind of losing the fight, you want to bring out the big guns. So On Guard, oregano, tea tree, lemon, and frankincense in a flu bomb roller. And you would do that, again, roll it every couple of hours. And then if you're starting to feel something, what I do is I take 1 to 2 drops of each internally, about 3 to 4 times a day. And I honestly used to be sick all the time. I was a preschool teacher, and I was basically sick from September until April or May. And then I started using these oils to help support my immune system. And it has been amazing. I, knock on wood, almost never get sick. I might get a little something, but then I'm able to fight it off. So it was a big change for me and very, very supportive. So fever support too, we have peppermint and lavender spray. So you just do a couple of drops of that in a spray bottle, top it up with water, and it's really helpful to cool you down and help support your little ones to be a little bit more comfortable, because it's never fun to have a fever. And then that also helps to support them so that maybe you don't have to give them the Advil or Tylenol. You know, there's a lot of fever fear that tells us that we need to give them it right away, but it's actually good for our bodies to have that fever and help fight whatever the fever is fighting in our body. So this will just help support. And then of course, if somebody is uncomfortable, then you can give that Advil if need be. So On Guard sanitizing mist. We're all using so many sanitizers right now. I don't like it when my kids use the ones anywhere else. I send them to preschool with their own sanitizing mist. I don't know what's in them. I don't really trust them. So this one I know I can trust. I know exactly what's in it. I know it's natural. I know it's clean. So we order this straight from doTERRA, or we make our own. So when we run out, we just make our own. And this is, you can screenshot it if you'd like. 15 drops On Guard, a teaspoon of carrier oil, witch's hazel, or alcohol, and then you top it up with water in a spray bottle. And it's very, very effective. So this is a good one too, to just quickly mention with On Guard. There's actually a PubMed study that showed that any surfaces that were cleaned with On Guard within 7 days of any bacteria coming into contact with it, that bacteria was killed. So this is one that I like to do to spray down like my handles, my cell phone once a week, and then every 7 days I know that all that bacteria is getting killed from with the On Guard. Girls. So sleep. We all want a little help with sleep. These are my favorite oils for sleep. And the combo for kids that I find very effective is Serenity, cedarwood, copaiba, and lavender in a roller. So rolled on the bottoms of the feet before bed, also really great in the diffuser. And then Roman chamomile is kind of like a big gun for sleep for kids. So it's a really supportive oil because it supports insomnia and overexcitement. And overexcitement is pretty much what every child has problems with when going to sleep. I don't know why, but right before bed, it's crazy playtime, usually when dads are riling them up with monster games. But Roman chamomile is really good to bring down that overexcitement. So good one to diffuse, or you can add it to that roller. Bergamot is also a really supportive one for some kids. It's all about finding what works for you. Everybody's bodies are different. So it's just finding what oil works the best. Juniper berry is great for night terrors. Leah. Juniper berry is great for night terrors. And then, so the big guns to help mama sleep, this was my first roller when I was pregnant, vetiver and wild orange. And I slept like a rock. My husband did too. We always have had issues staying asleep. We can fall asleep, but we always have issues staying asleep. This one is awesome. I do 15 drops of each in a 10 ml roller. That's quite strong, but that's what I have found that we need for sleep. And it's amazing. I actually didn't use it when my kids were little because I was scared that I wasn't going to wake up, because I thought that maybe I wouldn't hear them if they needed me. Now they can just come into my room and shake me awake. So that works for us now, but it's really good to help support sleep. So growing pains. If you're using the oils already, you probably have heard of Deep Blue Rub. It's great for muscle aches and pains. It was the first oil that I used when I was a preschool teacher that Michelle White gave me. She gave me a little sample. I was, I think, 7 months pregnant. I was so uncomfortable, and she could tell by the way that I was walking around. And she gave me a little bit at preschool. I put it on right away, and I had instant relief. And I'd been trying everything except for, of course, over-the-counter drugs or anything, but I've been trying everything else possible, massage, some other things that I wanted to try, but this was the one that gave me the most relief. And it's also really great for kids in growing pains. So you just want to dilute it a little bit, either with a carrier oil or a moisturizer, and you can rub it and massage it right into those legs and arms and joints, wherever they're in pain. Another really good trick is using that teething roller as a pain roller. So I like to use that for my kids as a pain roller now. They have their teeth, but it's really great for little pains. And then there's the Kids Line Rescuer Blend, which is the soothing blend for kids, which is so the Deep Blue for kids, which again, I'll get into in a little bit. Kids' emotional health. So in the last year, I have noticed a huge change in my kiddos. I think we probably all have. There's been a lot going on, a lot to process, a lot to deal with, a lot of stresses. So more than ever, I've seen how important my kids' emotional health is. And I've been starting to use my oils quite a bit more with them. When they were younger, I used Peace. Well, I'm still using it with my youngest because I like to call it the toddler tamer. I would just bring it out and literally let my oldest one smell it. And you could see a little bit more of the calm. I'm not saying it's going to completely get rid of the tantrum, but it definitely brings that calm down. So it's really good for insecurities and worry, nervousness and irritability, restlessness and confusion. And then this is one I also recommend to parents who want to support their kids with ADHD or ADD. Monster Tamer. This is a good one to diffuse in your homes, in your classrooms, if you're a teacher, wherever there's a whole bunch of kids all over the place. Balance is the grounding blend, and then Citrus Bliss is like uplifting creamsicles is what it smells like. So it smells really good. And then we have Console. So this is good for separation support. It's good for emotional and fear release and reassurance. And then if you're thinking of having more kids, it's also good for low libido. It's another little bonus. Something to note is it's not already diluted. So it's not like the touch rollers. They'll actually say right on them, touch, so that you know that they're diluted, or the Kids Line, which is already diluted. But the Console, the Claricalm, and the past tense on the top of my mind are not already diluted. So they won't say touch on them. So I just want to make a note of that because I did not know that when I started, and I used past tense not knowing it wasn't diluted, and I have a skin sensitivity from it, unfortunately. So just keep note of that. And then a few other good ones are the Kids Line Calmer, Kids Line Steady, and Kids Line Brave. Okay, let's talk a little bit about Mama's emotional support because this is a Mama and Me class. So the adaptive system is a toolbox to help the body and mind stay balanced during life's stressful moments. So they came up with this about almost 2 years ago. I couldn't have been more thankful for this. It's really good timing for them to have the adaptive line. Girls. So the oils, it comes in an oil and a roller, and then also soft gels. So the oil and the roller have lavender, magnolia, neroli, sweet gum, copaiba, and rosemary to reduce stressful feelings. And then it also has wild orange and spearmint for uplifting and energizing. So it smells absolutely amazing, very calming. You can have that. And I love to diffuse it. I keep the roller on me at all times. It is open. Thank you. So I keep the roller on me in all my purses. I keep the oil by my diffusers, and then the soft gels I'm going to talk a little bit about. I was actually in the last year for a little while there taking about 4 to 5 a day. The recommended is 1 to 2. You take a little bit more if you're comfortable with it, but it was very calming. We like to call it the chill pill. And it has scaledium extract, which clinical research has actually shown may support emotional responses during events that cause anxious feelings. So very supportive for stress, anxious feelings, anxiety. And then it also has GABA, which is a neurotransmitter that has natural calming effects on the brain that help promote mental well-being and relaxation. So that's why this is so supportive. I'm sure you can talk to pretty much anybody using doTERRA, and they're going to tell you how amazing the adaptive is for their well-being especially. Okay, so this is the kids collection I keep talking about for your over 3, or you can again dilute it if your kids are under 3. They came out with this a couple years ago, and they wanted to kind of support the overall child in every way that they could. It comes in a kit or individual rollers. So the rollers that are in it are Thinker, which is our supportive blend, and that's great for focus and concentration. So good to support ADD and ADHD as well. Overwhelm, overthinking, as well as stress. My kids like to take advantage when I'm doing some work because they know that I'll just let them have anything. You're not gonna like that. Okay. Moving on to Calmer, which is the restful blend. It's like the kids' Serenity. So like the adult Serenity, if you've smelled it, very restful. One of the main oils in it is lavender. It's good for unsettled, restless sleep issues, stress and anxious feelings, moodiness. And then it's also really good for growing pains. So this is a good one to layer with our next one, the Rescuer Soothing Blend Roller, which is like the kids' Deep Blue. And that one's really good for muscle aches and pains, growing pains, really good to actually use before presentations if you're feeling a little bit nervous, and that helps to calm the fear of public speaking. So I like to do that before I do presentations because sometimes I get a little nervous still, and that's a really supportive one. So the next one is Stronger. We talked a little bit about that. That's the protective blend. So it's like the kids On Guard, and it is really great for immune support, sore throat. So you would just roll it on your kid's neck if they have a sore throat, and it's good for cuts and scrapes too because it's antibacterial. Tamer is like the kids digest zen, so it's the tummy zen blend, and it's good for everything tummy. So motion sickness, bloating, gas, constipation, diarrhea, irritable bowels, upset stomachs, just roll it around the tummy and the bottoms of the feet, and that one's very helpful. Brave is the courage blend. So if your kids are feeling afraid and scared, they have a lack of confidence and motivation. I know I could have really used this oil when I was growing up. So these are all really great oils to give your kids their own little toolbox to help support them with all the hard times growing up. Steady, so grounding blend. It's like the kids' balance. So when your kids might be feeling disconnected, overstimulated, restless, wound up, this is a good one to roll if you're coming home late and past bedtime, or they've had too much sugar and you're trying to get them into bed. This is a good one to roll. I like to roll on the chest and then at the bottoms of the feet just so they can smell it. And I usually get them to do a t-shirt tent, which is just rolling on the chest and then breathing in like this. So they do that before bed, especially when they're all wound up, which seems to be every night these days. So that's the kids collection. Again, it comes in the kit, which comes with these nice little flashcards that tell you exactly how to use them, so your kids can read them and they'll know how to use them. And then also little caps that you can attach to their bags, or they can just take the whole bag with them, their nice little bag, and attach that to their backpacks. A little trick with that is, I did bring this, is that you want to attach the lid to the bottom of the bottle instead of the lid, because sometimes the lid can just undo and then you might lose the bottle and it could break. So it's better to attach it just to the bottom of it instead of the lid. Okay, so here's just a few personal care products, and I like to share these because for me, as I mentioned, I wanted to reduce the chemicals and the toxins in our lives. I would go to the grocery store, find whatever I could that I thought was the most natural and the safest, but not really knowing that there are still those hidden ingredients in there. Almost everything says fragrance, and that means that there's usually something toxic or chemical in it if an ingredient says fragrance. So using doTERRA, I know that I'm using the best quality products for myself and my kids, the most natural, the least toxins, and these are some of my favorites. So I've used the On Guard toothpaste with my kiddos since they were born. They've never used anything else, so they love it. It does have cinnamon in it, so it can be a little bit spicy for some kids. I would start with just a little bit and work your way up, and then they'll probably start to love it just like mine do. And then there's the baby body and hair wash. This is the moisturizer. It doesn't have any oils or anything in it. It's just plain moisturizer, and it's a really good one to mix in with that Deep Blue rub if you're dealing with the growing pains. There's lip balms, and then there's also shampoo and conditioner. So this is what I use for myself and for my oldest. She has very long wavy hair, in case you didn't see. So that one's really great for her hair and mine and my husband's. So that's our presentation on Mama and Me oils. These are just a few things that I can help you with if you, when you start out with your doTERRA natural lifestyle. I help with dilution ratios, which oils to use for what, which oils to use for different ailments. Oh, sorry. which oils to use for different ailments. I think I'm just going to stop sharing that now. And basically just to help help you start a natural lifestyle. So just support you in a natural lifestyle. I'm getting a reminder of my upgrade, but we still have 10 minutes. It's okay. You probably saw that. So that's my presentation for today on Mama and Me oils. And I'm going to stop the recording now.